What's the most creative thing you've seen done in a game? Part 4, YouTube edition. I believe this counts as creative in terms of aesthetic. In our D&D campaign, our human artificer from Japan was sent to the D&D campaign's world after being hit by a bus. The player and the character himself were known for doing hilarious yet effective things, such as rolling a nat 20 to convince the party he was from Japan in session 1, turning his cell phone into his homunculus servant at level 6, and building a wooden car out of caskets in catacombs with wood carving tools after killing the undead there. Anyways, artificers are flavored to cast magic through devices/machines that they make. So in the middle of one fight, the artificer throws a red and white metal sphere at the party monk to cast Enlarge Reduce. Artificer: I throw the Pokeball at our monk. DM: okay, what does it do? Artificer: the monk grows twice in size, becomes a large object, has advantage on strength checks, and deals extra 1d4 damage. I have Dynamaxed the monk. It was the highlight of the night. The following is a watered-down summary of what happened. Smoke Paragenasi Mystic: I flirt with the masked lady. DM: roll Smoke Paragenasi Mystic. Not seduce, flirt. Proceeds to roleplay it out with the DM, even making the masked lady laugh a few times, with her noting how long it's been since she's last had a genuine laugh. DM: roll Constitution. SPG Mystic: why? DM: just do it. SPG Mystic: nat 20. DM: you just made out with the Raven Queen and lived to tell the tale. Also, when you get back to Sigil, the rest of the party will see you're covered in peck marks because fun times are in store. My DM had us on a quest to exterminate some gnolls. We found their base, which was quite a large complex cave system from a map of a fallen gnoll. Then a sudden flash of genius from a fellow player. She suggested we wait out the cave entrance and start a large campfire, and another player had the spell Gust of Wind, and another had the Gust cantrip. Her brilliant plan was to blow the smoke of the campfire inside the cave and suffocate the gnolls inside without the trouble of going inside up close and personal to take them out. That was a pretty early D&D session and easy XP. I remember I was playing a campaign and we had to kill this creature who, if we saw, would make us lose all memory of it. What I decided to do was use rope as a blindfold. When we heard the beast, all of us fired off spells, as we all knew magic. I did too with Eldritch Blast. Only did 3 damage, but all of the party lost all memory of the creature except for me. My party's sorcerer was turned evil by rogue wild magic and was in the process of turning against the party when I convinced her to polymorph herself into a falcon, supposedly to recon a lair, and then awakened her with my Staff of the Woodlands. Yes! Gang gang. She got no saving throw and was charmed for a month. It was long enough to convert her back to neutral, and our quest to stop Tiamat still rages on. One that I recall is a player gluing a sword to a rope, then sticking it to, or into, a dragon's claw. Then, when the dragon swung the claw, he was carried by the momentum next to the dragon's target so he could use protection to give the dragon disadvantage. And because he was an Eldritch Knight, he couldn't get disarmed, so he couldn't unwillingly let go of the rope. Maybe realistically, the timing doesn't work out here, as he should have gotten next to the target after the dragon hit, but it was pretty creative. But the least creative thing, well, that was yesterday. I wanted to organize a secret meeting with a mayor, and I had another player go under false pretense to leave a message where to meet. The player walked up to the mayor's secretary and flat out asked to organize a secret meeting and almost gave her the shady letter. One time, I decided to play Pathfinder 2nd Edition with a few friends. I was a gnome fighter, where everyone else was a spellcaster of some kind. I swear we had like 2 sorcerers. We entered a tavern, and there was a woman that was muttering in a language we never knew. We succeeded with occult checks, and found out that she was whispering warnings about a horde of sea creatures that would arrive soon. The GM's idea was for us to have a kind of wave battle, where several zombified kobolds and such crawled out of the ocean to fight and try to kill us. What we instead did was get me a longbow. Spellcasters all prepared summon spells and magic weapons. I think it was a cleric, casted magic weapon on my longbow first, and they took turns refreshing it whenever the spell ran out. In this edition of Pathfinder, fighters start off with expert proficiency in simple and martial weapons, meaning they have a 4 plus their level to hit. Combine that with my 18 dex and the magic weapon buff, so I became the Gnome Ballista. The GM fell completely silent as we took out about 16 enemies before they even got close enough to attack. I know it's not as creative as the other things people have done. Now that's bullshit. That's fucking brilliant. But it's a very fond memory of my first time playing Pathfinder 2nd Edition as a player character. The most creative thing I've ever done in a campaign was this. We were in a low-level campaign, and I was a Thrakeen bard. A Thrakeen is like a humanoid praying mantis. Oh my god, it's Zorak! And we were investigating a giant hole that suddenly appeared in the middle of a city. This hole was the size of dozens of city blocks. When we got to the bottom of the hole, we saw a massive summoning circle and tried to destroy it, but it wasn't working. In trying to destroy it, we got the attention of an earth elemental with nothing better to do than to try and mess up our day. And boy, did it mess up our day. Like I said, this was a low-level campaign. We were level 3, I think, and the Earth Elemental was CR 5. My brother, the DM, even modified its stats so that we would have a better chance against it, but we were still getting wrecked. Its AC was the hardest part. We could barely get a hit on, but then I got an idea. I asked my brother if I could embed my Githka in it, a Thrakeen weapon. Imagine a staff with 2 crescent-shaped blades at the ends. He said I could if I not only hit it, but the dice roll I threw would hit it even without any strength or proficiency bonuses. It took me a few tries, but I finally managed to embed my weapon in the elemental. I then cast heat metal on the blade of the Githka that was embedded in the monster. What this did was it caused 2d8 fire damage to the elemental for every turn the elemental was in contact with my weapon. And since my weapon was stuck in it, that was a confirmed 2d8 fire damage every turn on a monster we could otherwise barely do anything to. My brother did make it resistant to fire, which lessened the blow a bit, but as the battle went on, turn after turn, its health slowly depleted. Eventually, the elemental got sick of the red-hot iron rod in its back, pulled the thing out, and hit me with it, downing me. Karma, I guess. But it had taken so much damage from the spell and the occasional hit that the players got on it that we were able to kill it without any players actually dying. I feel really proud of this battle, as you should, and consider it one of the greatest things I've done in a fight. That's fucking lit. That's a great fucking move right there. During a boss battle with a high-level monk, the party was having their collective ass handed to them. The sorcerer, looking at her spells, found a loophole in the spell teleportation circle, and drew a quick circle and did the equivalent of Spartan kicking him into it, and then disturbing the sand to instantly close it. 2 stories. The first where I'm one of the players, the second where I'm the DM. Both involve the use of the stone to mud spell, which temporarily turns stone into mud for a couple minutes, allowing it to be shaped and molded before it turns back into stone again. First, a powerful ancient dragon working for the big bad evil guy has taken up residence inside a mountain. The party is around level 8 to 10, and we are nowhere near equipped to deal with the dragon. The DM has intended it to be a constant threat as we slowly get stronger, being something we have to hide or run from. Instead, we convince some wizards and druids to work with us, travel to the dragon's mountain, and proceed to use stone to mud to seal up all the entrances, saving the main one the dragon uses for last. While that's worked on, we buy 24 cows, kill them, roast them, and stuff them with sleeping herbs, then pay 12 peasants to deliver them to a field near the mountain and offer it as tribute to the dragon in exchange for its mercy. The peasants are all killed, but the dragon eats its fill of the cows before heading home and promptly falling asleep, after which the final entrance to the mountain is sealed closed. Everybody leaves. The peasants have their names recorded in noble service to the kingdom, and nobody comes back until a year later to find the dragon has suffocated to death in its drug-induced sleep. Now we have a treasure hoard of gold and jewels to pay for an army, powerful magical equipment to gear up with, and a perfectly preserved ancient dragon corpse to make use of, all for an upfront cost of around 100 gold coins. Talk about a nice return on investment. Second, it's midway through the campaign, and the big bad evil guy has finally appeared. Its volcano fortress erupting out from the center of the continent, destroying a major city and scorching the surrounding area for miles. Fucking metal. My intent for the party was to have them circle the volcano, rallying forces, but put enough pressure on them so they use their airship to fly over big bad evil guy's territory in order to do so in time. The first time. They'll get away with it, but the second will draw them into a huge air battle. Instead, they get a half dozen airships together, and using 100 grappling hooks mounted to the sides of them, take this massive triangular stone spike filled with ball bearings they've created using stone to mud, lift it into the air, fly to the volcano, and simultaneously drop it into the center of the volcano from as high up as the ships will go. With the assistance of the local mages guild, the Doom Spike triggers a second eruption from the volcano and eliminates 80% of the big bad evil guy's forces that they'd amassed up to that point. As well as completely wrecking the volcano stronghold, big bad evil guy survives unharmed, as does some of its fellow fire fiend forces. But they are effectively buried underneath several feet of obsidian. This gave the party more than enough time to amass additional forces, while the mages guild maintained a blizzard over the area, and the forces they'd gathered eliminated the fire fiends on the surface. By the time big bad evil guy got out, the party had a huge army backing them up, with big bad evil guy having reduced stats and taking constant weather damage due to the blizzard. Never underestimate the creativity of your players. They will surprise you. Hello out there in the cosmos, you beautiful spirits trapped in ham. Thank you for burning that attunement slot for a few minutes on our behalf. We're so glad to have you here with us on this magnificent hurtling spaceship we all call home. If you're new around these parts, please say hello in the comments. If this isn't your first orbit, please share your favorite topics we've covered so far. As always, if you've got a story about creativity in D&D, please post it in the comments, and it may even get read in a future video just like this one maybe. If you've got a story burning a hole in your pooper that is not connected to the topic of the video, please internet on over to our official subreddit, r/Mr. Ripper, and share it with us over there. We got plenty of topics for you, and you can post your story just kind of where it's a bit chaotic, if I may be perfectly honest. I think we need to like tighten the screws on the story organization scheme, but yeah, there's tons of stories there, and yours is just as welcome as all the rest of them. If you have big PP or big PP energy, please check out our D&D friends over at Adventurers Guild Coffee Company. These perfect purveyors of powerful potables put plenty of passion into pouring pure, palatable, good old-fashioned Joseph into your magnificent mug, and are, just as we are, inspired by the greatest goddamn game that ever lived. Use our coupon code Mr. Ripper for 10% off your beans if you got that dirty dangle like I know you do. I think you'll be pleased with your decision. We've scheduled a D&D game with our dear and darling DM, and we'll have that posted to the subreddit, the YouTube channel, and the Discord for all who wish to join us as we get shoulder deep in the aforementioned greatest goddamn game that ever lived. Anyways, I think that's everything, kiddos. You are perfect. I love you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for watching. We'll see you on the next one.